Everybody was hot, 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 except where you get pee, pee, pee. But even then you're warmer, warmer, warmer. That's the TLDR. Let's do the weather report. A rapid warm-up is forecast for the early week across central and eastern U.S. Anomalous warm and dry conditions raise fire weather concerns across portions of the Intermountain West, the Plains, and the central Appalachia. However, severe weather and flash flooding chances are going to occur along a stationary boundary across the upper Midwest, the Great Lakes, and the upper Northeast for early in the week as well. Lastly, South Florida is going to see windy and wet afternoon today, courtesy of a cold front in the region. More typical spring pattern will resume by Monday in the state. Temperatures on the East Coast, we've got 30s and 40s and 50s for New England. Turns into the 60s by the time you get to the mid-Atlantic, and those 60s do continue into the southeast. It does warm up a bit for Florida with 82 and 80 at the tip of the peanut. Midwesty poos, you're a little colder up in the lakes, but still warmer than you have been, with 50s and 60s reaching to higher latitudes than they have been all winter. And it's a nice high 60s and to high 70s all the way down to the Gulf. So the Midwest seeing lovely moderate temperatures for Sunday. Maybe mow your lawn or something. Plains poos, we've got 50s right up by the Canadian border. It dissolves into 60s and 70s before you even leave North Dakota. And then South Dakota's in the 70s, but everybody else below that is much hotter in the high 80s and low 90s. 83 down at the tip of Texas. So the warmest temperatures we're seeing is right in the panhandle regions of Texas and Oklahoma. Mountain states, 40s, 50s, 60s up top, 70s as well. And those 70-degree temperatures are throughout most of the Southwest as well, until you get down near the border when you're dealing with higher 90s and higher 80-degree temperatures, maybe some hundreds as well. I can tell by the temperature color that South Arizona is tipping into that direction, though I don't think it's in the high hundreds. It just might tip up there near Phoenix and stuff. West Coastlies, we've got 40s and 50s for Washington, 60s for Oregon, 84, 80 for NorCal, 86, 80 for SoCal. McMurdo Station sitting at negative 14 degrees Fahrenheit, winds from the east at 10 with gusts up to 14 miles per hour, giving you a real feel of negative 31 and cloudy skies. But it looks pretty. Puerto Rico still looking pretty good with no watches, warnings, or advisories in effect, and projecting the unsettled weather to persist for the upcoming Monday, Tuesday. So it might start strengthening late Sunday today, and the marine rip current risk will worsen later in the day, so be aware. But right now, it does look okay. Check your locals. Temperatures, high temperatures today for the island, 82, 84 on the north coast, 81 on the east, 86 in the south, 87 in the west, and 73 for the interior, 86, 87 out at the U.S. Virgin Islands, 81 out at St. Croix. Alaska, seeing some mild precipitation, it looks like in the form of frozen pea off the coast of the Bering Sea on the west coast there. Looks like the hazardous weather is going to stay offshore next week with relatively benign weather and closer to normal temperatures tapping for much of the state than have been recently experienced. So we'll keep an eye on that. Might get a storm by midweek. We'll keep an eye on that as well. And true to the report, daytime high temperatures today expected to be much warmer than the last weeks have been. 16, 13, 11 up on the Arctic Circle. And then for the interior, those low 20s and teens are up top. And it does get into the high 20s and the low to mid 30s for the rest of the state. 43, 40 for the Aleutians, 34, 36 for near Anchorage, and 27 for the Panhandlers. Hawaii, you've got small craft advisories around all of those islands, indicating we've got some windy conditions going on. Surf is predicted to remain choppy, especially on the eastern facing shores through the next week or so, with strong trades returning through the first half of the week. Daytime high temperatures for the island chain in the low to mid 70s for most areas, and then around the western shores of the Big Island, a little bit warmer, up as possible as 82. All right, have a good day, everyone. Enjoy your weather snacks. Bye.